Let us delve deeper into the global, regional and local issues shaping the country's foreign policy in the wake of shifting dynamics politically and economically. Serfine Achieng Ouma spoke to Macharia Munene, a professor of history and international relations, who pointed out the black spots in Kenya's foreign policy and the complexities it faces in navigating the international terrain.
Kenya unveils its new foreign policy amidst shifting global dynamics characterized by the transition from geopolitics to geoeconomics. Like many African countries, Kenya is faced with the dilemma of whether to stick to the traditional political allegiance to the West or to reorient its priorities towards the economic spurt of emerging powers like China, which, according to Macharia Munene, a professor of history and international relations, are giving the West a run for their money by offering alternatives.
China delivers on the promise. You may not agree on some things, but they deliver. China's prices are always reasonable, more reasonable than any other. So if you have a choice between something costing $100 and another $200, which one will you take?
Kenya's foreign policy has been vexed upon the principle of non-alignment. In the context of the changing global dynamics, Professor Munene explores the options for the country on whether to face the East, the West, or home.
There are times when it has to deal with the United States, and it should. There are times when it has to deal with China, and it should, on Kenya's terms of interest. There are times when it has to deal with Russia. Yeah? And it should.
The diplomatic complexities Kenya is facing came to the fore during the three-day Africa tour by former Iranian president, the late Ibrahim Raisi. The bilateral talks he had with President Ruto at State House, Nairobi, was quickly overshadowed by the controversy of the visit, which seemed to have placed Kenya in between a delicate relationship between Iran and its global adversaries.
Have we seen the fruits of that? We don't know. We have yet to see. And maybe we've seen the fruits. The Israelis were not very happy. And even the Americans were not very happy. And Ruto was in the business of trying to please the Americans.
The AUC chairmanship race also forms another key dynamic in Kenya's diplomacy. While the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga seems to be on the upward trajectory after bagging support of key continental figures, he will still have to face two other candidates, including Djibouti's Mohamed Ali Yusuf and Madagascar's Richard James Randriamandrato.
The other heads of state who are going to be the voters, how much do they trust Kenya to do the right thing, given the mistakes we've been making? See, they are also reading this, they are Danny papers.
The outcome of the vote, which is slated for February 2025, will also speak volumes about President Ruto's weight in the African Union. But until that happens, closer home in the East African community, President Ruto takes over as the chair of the region's Heads of State Summit, a top decision-making organ of the bloc. This is after DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi, who was expected to take over from South Sudan's President Salva Kiir, failed to attend the summit in Arusha. Somalia, which was in line, is still in process of aligning with the community protocols, and President Samia Suluhu would have taken the baton, passing it to Ruto, citing other commitments. But what will it take to successfully navigate the rough terrain in the bloc that is marred with, among others, conflict and trade barriers?
I think he needs to work extra hard because of the question of believability. You know, there is a time he was supposed to lead the IGAD thing, and Sudan told him to get lost. Didn't want him anyway. Not a very good picture, And I think he has a little problem with Congo, So how to allay suspicion of the various neighbors, whether it's Suluhu, Museveni, Kagame, Tshisekedi, Salva Kiir, and the guy in Somalia.
Serfine Achieng Ouma, Citizen TV.